Okay, so today we have our next project. We are going to be replacing the nut, adjusting the intonation, and we have some minor fret sprout issue. Well, I don't know if you call it minor because it does go all the way up and down the neck, but fret sprout issue nonetheless. So let's get started by taking off these old strings. So this is actually a one of the Fender 66 models. Never really gave it much thought as a guitar that I might like until I actually saw this one. It's kind of cool, actually. It's kind of like Strat meets P-bass, jazz bass kind of thing. A little bit of a cool idea. Strat tones without the typical Strat look. Kind of like that. Alright, tuning pegs are all still good and tight. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is remove the nut. So, first step in removing the old nut, making sure you score around the nut so that you don't do any finished chipping when you remove it. Not like you gotta cut deep or anything like that. Just basically making sure you mark the finish, because like right here you can see the nut's a little discolored. Probably some finish overrun that happened there. Now, well, let's be smart first and cover the razor blade back up. Now we should be able to just tap this old one out. There we go. Apparently they didn't use much glue to put this thing in at all. And happily he wanted to go with a Graphtech nut, one of my personal favorites. Alright. String holes line up. But since this is a Mexican guitar, you can see that little nub needs to be removed. The Mexican style is just curved. Alright, so now the next step, now that we've gotten these pulled off, I'll make sure that they're about the same height. And we are good there. Actually, you can see that the height on the new one is slightly taller, which is good because that will give us the ability to actually get the nut slots filed down to the correct height so we don't have any buzzing on the first few frets. So the next step is to make sure the nut fits good. So first off, never want to remove material from this side of the nut outside of just getting rid of the glue residue, which there we go, glue residue is gone. So any effort to make this fit, you always want to make sure it comes from this side of the nut, because if you make it come from this side of the nut, you'll end up with an altered, albeit minorly altered, scale length. Alright, the next step on making sure the nut fits correctly is fitting the nut. Again, just like if you need to remove material here, only take from this side. Nut, only remove material from this side. Well, you just start with a standard piece of sandpaper. If you're going to do this, make sure you put the sandpaper on something flat and solid so you don't end up with a weird surface on that side. There we go. Now we get a good fit. Now it's time to shape the ends nicely so that there's no overhang. The next step is to glue the thing in place. Now remember, it does not take much glue to secure this thing. I tend to only use 3 drops, one on each end and one in the middle. You can use CA glue, also known as super glue. You can use carpenter's glue. Just don't use too much glue. Just to make sure. Few things that we're going to do right now is we're going to get this taped down all nice and tight so it can dry with some pressure on it. And then while that dries, we're going to actually tape off the rest of the fretboard. So that we can take care of the fret ends. Okay, well, I also will be using the same file that I used in the last video, except for this time we're going to be using it on all of the frets, since there's a bit of sprout issue pretty much everywhere. So starting up at the top. And like I said before in the last video, downward angle and rolling over the top of the fret as you go down. Okay, so now that all that is done, it's time to put some strings on this thing. Make sure we got good height on the pickups. Good height on the nut. And then we will intonate. All right, now that it got springs on, they're somewhat stretched out. Let's get them tuned back up. The main issue that prompted this whole nut replacement was the G string was having issues staying in tune. So, first thing we're going to do is check our string heights. Do that with the feeler gauge. So for the lowy, I'm going to start with 0.015, finger down on the fret. Alright, we don't have to do nothing on that one. Awesome. And the high E string. Alright, so the high E and the G both have to come down a little bit. So, I know everybody's going to be thinking of getting paid by Stewmac or something, but best nut files that I have found have been a nut file set by Stewmac. Like in the last video, I'll give you guys a link to this one as well. So now, what we have to do is loose off the string, pop it out of the slot. And now, anytime you want to do this, you want to make sure that you're doing it at an angle and in a straight line to the tuner, the string that is being worked on. A little bit at a time. Hey, we got it. Make sure the string is tuned up every time you check it. There we go. Yay, that one was not too bad. Thank you, Graphtech, for making a good nut. I'm a huge fan of the Graphtech products as well, so I'll put a link to the nut we used in the description as well. So that one. So the next thing is intonation. All right, that's the intonation. We are done, except for polishing up and giving it back. So I'm going to actually make an entirely separate video playing tones for this thing. I'll do a little review of the Fender 66 as well. So there'll actually be 2 videos coming up very soon. So please remember, like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. See you soon. Bye.